Hello, everybody. Welcome back to week 5 of the North American Esports League here. I'm your host and caster for today, Star Wars, and we are in for a lovely treat in this amazing weekend coming up. Over on the top left, we've got Greninja. Top right is going to be King Alex Smith, and on the bottom is going to be No Bear. We're seeing a good old classic location here of a drop, Daily Bugle. Known to be one of the most successful drop locations for at least the AoE esports team. A successful drop. Doesn't look like we've seen too many other contenders here. We're going to drop in on roughly about 47 players here. And that's going to be including the 3 for the AoE team. Now, a lot of success that comes in from this Daily Bugle drop is the fact that it's so vertically upwards that it's easy to maneuver just around this area. And then, of course, if you get the Spider-Man gauntlets or any gauntlets whatsoever, then, you know, a lot more mobility, and that produces a lot of flexibility and options that you have in the mid to late game and getting yourself set up throughout it too. Well, so far they've had their quite fair share of luck in this game. Just getting a free roam around the map to get, or at least Daily Bugle here to pick up all the loot they have to get themselves well set up. And so as they start to collect their loot, typically what they've done in the past is just get themselves as set up as they can and then start to make their way to close towards the center of the circle. At this time, doesn't look like they need to do that just yet, just because of the fact that they're gonna be in it at some point. I mean, they can just bunker down here for a little bit. And with the experience on this map, they definitely do have a good idea of where the chests are going to be located in the Daily Bugle. And what also makes this area so strong is the fact that opposing players, if they want to make an entryway into the Daily Bugle, they first got to traverse either across on top of the mountainside area, or they've got to go in through this narrow open passageway. And of course, if the AoE team decides to place themselves on top of the buildings, they're going to have a huge vantage point all around. They can spot players from different angles and reposition themselves in very strong positions. Wolf coming into play. Over on the top right here with King Alex. I think King Alex is trying to ride the wolf. Oh, there you go. King Alex able to get on top of the wolf. We were watching some of the warm-up game that they had right before they came in, and I'm pretty sure King Alex was also riding a boar in the last round as Darth Vader, and I couldn't picture the epitome of Fortnite in any other way than Darth Vader with a lightsaber or riding a boar. And I gotta say, the wolves are really hot on King Alex Smith's tail here. They really want to chase him down. I think King Alex is finally able to outmaneuver them, but lost the wolf in the process. How tragic. Just a lot of preparation here. So mainly a lot of common weapons coming in for No Bear. few different varieties of weapons, a few epics, a few rares. Nothing legendary just yet or above. Still kind of making their way to the bit of a exotic one there. Now I'm very glad to see this AoE team just start to rack up their materials for when it comes to the later game, because that's the most crucial, because a lot of it is very hindered on, do you have enough materials to sustain yourself throughout the match to survive, and then at the very end when most of the materials end up getting used. And they're doing a great job at this. Now I'm surprised that the circle hasn't really closed in too much away from them. A lot of times when the AoE team decide to land in Daily Bugle, the circle ends up expanding away from them until they're forced to move. But in this case, they just... It almost seems like they're getting themselves so built up that other players don't really have an entranceway into the upper portion of the building. So if by chance the final fight ends up being in Daily Bugle, they're going to have such a huge advantage. Still possible at this point. We'll have to see as the game progresses. Yeah, they definitely want to clear out this bottom portion. Very smart too. King Alex using the car to just demolish this area here. Still flying with the spider webs, not really having much control. A little bit of a sticky situation there. Finally able to break free of the web loop. So circle still not making their way here too. We've got all the time in the world to just clear out everything. I can hear some sort of ping coming out. There could be opposing members now making their way. Looks like Greninja on the top left. Gonna keep an eye out. And this is probably your best game plan too. Just have some of the two members just clear out as much as they can. Take a strong hold of a pre-built fort, such as the Daily Bugle. And then have one other player keep a lookout in case somebody comes in. Because the worst case scenario here is if an opposing team suddenly comes in, none of the teammates were aware, and they just get dropped. It seems like they're going to bail on Daily Bugle at the moment. Potentially try to go for just more resources. Yeah, it looks like Circle is deciding to expand away from there, and would have been a good play otherwise if they had a full hold on that Daily Bugle. Unfortunately, the storm not in their favor, so they're going to be having to move away from that location. Now, at least it gives them some more time to find some better potential weapons. The downside that they would have had if they stayed there is just a slight lack of resources. Now, they are able to get quite a lot from this Daily Bugle play, but to sustain it from compared to what some of the other players may have gone while they're rotating and repositioning themselves throughout the map might have been a little bit difficult for them. Especially since No Bear in the bottom has mainly common weapons to play with. And you can see the AoE team utilizing the storm just to gain some higher vantage points, check around, see if they can spot anybody. Gonna be very difficult though with the constant swirling vortex and the smoky particles. Those provide some good insight though. One ping out. Greninja spotting some. Finally our first players. We're already down to 14 players. King Alex. Knockdown one. Gets knocked down themselves. Now in a sticky situation here. Greninja on the top left. Coming in for the support. Eliminates one. Spots out the downed King Alex. I don't think he boxed him in there. Trying to tell King Alex, come back in here. Nope. You come here. But what a great play. Great coordination from these two. Able to eliminate 3 within a blink of an eye. Now that's going to be able to bump up the rarity of the weapons that collectively this team is able to get. And they didn't really lose much out of it either. I mean, King Alex did end up getting dropped, so that's going to drop a lot of the health. But, I mean, the opponents had health packs and a way to recharge the shield. A lot of consumables here. Ready to go there. You can see King Alex back up to speed. Now with the circle changing position, AoE team is now forced back again to move. Now we're down to the last 9 players already in the top 10. With 3 being already AoE. Meaning they're up against 6 other players, potentially 2 other teams, or a handful of stragglers, which is more than likely the case. Spotting out an enemy base. King Alex pinging it out. They don't quite see anybody in there. Could have been a previous battle. But nothing just yet. They've got to watch out here. This is the most dangerous side. You can see No Bear spawning someone out. The call is in. King Alex and Greninja go on the offensive, but push back here as they take on some heavy fire. No Bear providing some farther support, but King Alex trying to reposition, gets knocked down. Or not knocked down, but dropped out of their fort. Now stuck in a situation, fired on from all different angles. Greninja trying to provide that extra level support from the side. Storm also closing in. AoE needs to move away from this battle site. Slowly away. No Bear getting in a little bit too close. Gets taken down here. Opposing team gonna try to initiate. Go in for the gauge. Storm damaging AoE team as they're trying to make their escape. King Alex taking some heavy damage. Drop down to half health. Sniper from the distance. Greninja trying to provide the support for King Alex. Trying to warp back in. Come in from above. Get a higher vantage point. King Alex is able to eliminate one. Get themselves back into play. Still not out of the woods just yet. Quite literally, too. You can see the fire from different angles. I think there's more than one team here battling against each other. Now, Greninja was able to get out of that sticky situation quite fast. However, King Alex is not out just yet. This is a very small zone to work with. Can easily bump into somebody. Only has 100 health to work with. Slowly, Greninja and King Alex regrouping together. Should be able to do it. As long as nobody spots them. Perfect. Able to team right back up. Get some level of shield. It's only going to be a 25. Oh, double make that a 50. But still, look at the dangerousness of this. They're taking heavy fire. Greninja taking some serious damage. Gonna warp right back out. Both King Alex and Greninja warping away from the fight. They don't want to take it just yet. It would have been a very difficult situation to go up against, but they're getting spotted from above. Greninja already down on the floor. King Alex trying to reposition spots out on an opponent. Greninja from above, but King Alex taking heavy fire from the back. King Alex down to 45. Still has some enough health. Might spot on another. Greninja trying to spot the player from a distance, but no, now needs to focus on trying to take down the player right in front of him. Down to 10. Gets taken down! And that's going to be AoE placing third in game number 1. From just too many different angles that they had to go up against. And I believe it was more than one team they were going up against at that moment, because I mean the way that they coordinated wasn't together that the opponents were going in, but they were just taking way too many fights, too many angles to work with, and it at the very end, at least they were able to get third place. Not a bad position to place in, but of course we gotta be right back as we get our preparation in tune for game number 2, the final game of the day. Stick around, stay tuned, we'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to game number 2 of the North American Esports League, week number 5. With game number 1, our AoE team finishing 3rd place, which is it's not bad at all. I mean, every week, obviously, these players and teams are going to play so much more drastically different. They can be last place and they can be first place. And the difference is how many eliminations are they able to get in the process too. Now, AoE was able to get quite a few eliminations throughout the match and getting 3rd place, meaning that they're going to get quite a bit of a bump in this next upcoming weeks. We'll see exactly where they're gonna land there. Doesn't look like they're able to go for the Daily Bugle anymore. Gonna be the Greasy Grove here instead. Now there are a few opponents coming in, landing as well, and they're gonna land a little bit sooner, so they're definitely gonna watch out. No Bear's able to at least get there, land nice and safe and sound. And just to reiterate the positions of the teams, Greninja is gonna be on the top left, King Alex Smith on the top right, No Bear on the bottom. They definitely do have to tread carefully now. They can't just rush into different rooms, collect whatever loot they can, because opponents could be at any turn of the corner. And more than likely, they're going to bump into each other sooner rather than later. You got them remaining ever vigilant. Over on the top left, Greninja able to spot out one. Gonna ping it out. Try to go in for the engage. Doesn't know exactly where they are, but they gotta watch out when they come in. I think they spotted out their opponent. Turning the corner. King Alex going in for the knockdown. Managed to take him out, but gets taken out from the side. Taking some heavy damage, fire damage. Taking him down. 45 health. Another knockdown. Greninja able to land a fantastic sniper shot. King Alex dropping down slowly. Trying to get him back into a safer spot. Safe and sound here. They did get the 2 eliminations. Oh no, they only got the 1. One's still downed. I don't think they got that second elimination. Oh no, there it is. They dropped out. They ran out of time. Wow, so the 2 eliminations, there should be one more player nearby. Probably what ended up happening is they landed there. One got caught out. One tried to go for the rescue. The third one tried to come in, but wasn't able to get there in time. Could also be hovering around as well. No pings, no nothing just yet. But a very close call for this AoE team. And with that is at least going to allow them to just gather a lot of resources in Greasy Grove. Help them start to make headway into the later stages in this map. Mainly common weapons here. Few rares, few uncommons. As they slowly build those resources, you can see that the storm's starting to expand away from them. You can see the circle all over on the map. Meaning they, at some point, need to move out of this and start to make their way through the treacherous terrain. And I think that's what the most dangerous part is. Because most of the weeks that the AoE team gets eliminated earlier in the round is when they're maneuvering around and just so happen to bump into an opposing team and get surprise ambushed. Now, they had a lot more success when they had the Spider-Man gauntlets in the past, because they were able to move around the map at a more quiet noise versus driving around with a car. But of course, that's not an option in this case. And they do have a grapple. It's definitely going to help a lot. Now, it looks like they wanted to stay in Greasy Grove for a little bit longer, as long as they can. Try to clear out what they're able to. And there's no real reason not to in this case. I mean, they've got the time, they've got the ability. Players don't typically want to play in this area, as it's gonna slowly start to be covered by the storm. They almost got a bit of a free reign coming in. Oh, King Alex spawning out one. Immediately, this opponent's going to build upwards, trying to protect themselves. But with the collapsing of the 3 members of AoE, they should be able to make their way in. But they got to watch out. They could get one tapped here with a shotgun. King Alex spawning him out. All 3 members collapsing in. No Bear going up close and personal. King Alex unable to land the shot just yet. Spots him out here, but they're playing around in the storm, and it's making it difficult for them to see. This opponent is just maneuvering and getting taken out here. They are able to clean house. That was probably the 3rd member that was just lingering around that they weren't able to eliminate. I feel like it, because they probably went for a delayed, like they just waited, bided their time, hoping that the AoE team would leave. Then they'd have time to get the reboot cards, reboot their teammates back up. Probably what the play would have been. It looks like AoE got the better read this time around. Now we're down to 31 players. And it looks like No Bear able to find a friend. Not a bear, but a wolf. Now, I like the way that they're starting to move here. Compared to past matches that they've had, they typically tend to just move around the map, but in this case, they're stopping every so often, pulling out the sniper, and checking out the different angles that they could potentially move it towards. And they're also playing more quietly as they go in for the rotate. They're not utilizing the car. They're going to take a little bit extra time to quietly maneuver around and rotate around. Party Llama being spotted out here by King Alex. The team knows just how valuable this llama could be. It will make a lot of noise. There's just any other team nearby that could be very dangerous, very scary. Pretty good weapons pulling in here. Look at that. Greninja pulling in a pretty powerful weapon in the process. Now that does take 2 slots in there, so the downside in that is obviously it's going to have quite a lot of power, quite a lot of support for their team, but reduce the overall resources that they're going to have. Now we could see another battle come in. It's very likely that an opposing team could be already hovering around here, or just slowly make their way in. Greninja getting a little stuck on the top left. I think Greninja's trying to break through, but the wall is just not giving way. Deciding to finally give up on it. Oh well. Sometimes the better way is not to push through it, but to go around your obstacles. Now, King Alex is going to get into contact with an opposing team. No Bear is going to reposition themselves. Maybe a different spot. Looks like they're going to get fired on. Greninja taking some damage. Down to 40 shield, still 100 health. No Bear taking heavy damage. Does get dropped down. Isn't able to get into a good position in time. King Alex going to bide their time, but at the process, No Bear getting dropped. Already eliminated now. Don't let this happy-go-lucky music distract you from the seriousness of this battle. King Alex forced to change vehicles. Original one taking way too much damage. Greninja trying to reposition. Staying from a longer distance to force into a long distance battle. Here comes Greninja taking head on the Warthog. But Fire gonna try to drop down this fort. Spots out an opponent here. Spots out another. Taking heavy damage, gets dropped down. Now it's gonna be all up to King Alex to try to save the day. And that's it. King Alex, unfortunately, not able to win the fight back, but gonna end up the team placing 9th overall in this second and final game of the day here. Not a bad placement. An unfortunate fight. They just weren't able to turn the tides around in that last battle, as they were constantly on the retreat. They couldn't get themselves positioned in a very stationary spot. But they tried their definite very best here. Now, once again, that is another wrap up for this exciting week in the Fortnite matches for the North American Esports League. I was your host and caster for today's Star Wars, and I hope you enjoyed today's matches, and we look forward to bring you another